Okay, so here I am in the US dollar group, and I'm looking at all my daily charts first, right? Just to see what am I gonna do with the US dollar group. So if I look at all the recent markets, if I just ignore the last few candles, because when I was doing all the research at that time, I didn't have the last two candles, right? So I was like, okay, well, this is all recent market says, well, buyer's territory, right? Pound USD, okay, buyer's territory. Whether I look at it that way or whether I look at it that way, still buyer's territory. Okay, Aussie USD, same thing. The last buyer's territory was here. Since then, no higher high, no higher high, no higher high, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. New Zealand USD, buyer's territory. USD CAD, we got seller's territory. Okay, it's like that. Okay, no lower low since, no lower low since. This high was a faker. Okay, if you don't understand that, return to spikes and stuff like that in the MPA course, the Mastering Price Action course. So that's a faker up there, that little spike. And then the US dollar Japanese yen, looking at it for the recent markets, it's like, okay, well, if I look at just the last few candles, I don't see any breaks anywhere. So the closest break I see, or breach I see, is there. So if that's the closest breach, then I'm just going to assume that, well, that's my recent seller's territory. And I'm in a little range there. So I was like, whoa, okay, US dollar across the board is saying weak. Now, this is across the board, not one pair disagrees with it. So there's a bigger boy involved. Okay? Someone is dumping the US dollar like hotcakes. Okay? Maybe they didn't like the election or something, I don't know. But they're dumping the US dollar like hotcakes. Okay. Now, whatever that situation is, that catches my eye like, okay, something didn't make sense in Aussie, but let's see if it makes sense here. Now that we've done all this information, let me clean all this up. Clean, clean, clean. We're gonna go into our 4 hours to do some window shopping, and we're gonna see what's going on. Okay, before I even go into the 4 hours, there's certain things that's catching my eye. Look at this high in December, and look at that high right now. Okay, look at this high in December. Look at this high right now. Look at this high in December. Look at this high right now. Look at this high in December. Look at this high right now. You're starting to notice a pattern? Look at this low in December. Look at this low right now. Okay? December, look at this low or high in December. So this one's all over the place. It's all messed up, right? Because this one's clearly showing an uptrend, but it's temporarily in a downtrend. So it's like, I don't know if I want to touch this one. I don't know if I'm going to go with a sell on this, because it's like, look at that uptrend. You know, it's steeper than a ladder. So we're going to leave this one out, and we're down to 5 pairs that we like. And of course, if you have Swiss franc, you're down to 6 pairs. And I'm sure Swiss franc would probably say the same thing too. Now, nothing so important to it, but it's something just catches my eye. Okay? Let's still go to the 4 hours and do our window shopping there. We're into our 4 hours, and in our 4 hours, if I scroll back to, if I remove the last few days of trading, and I was like, okay, this is the flow I see for Euro USD. Smoothish, working its way up. Okay, nice and smooth. Pound USD, if I remove the last couple of days. Okay, Pound USD, it started from a downtrend, which broke, and then it started going aggressive uptrend. Okay. Aussie USD, if I remove the last couple of days. Smooth uptrend as well, but steeper inclines. Okay, not like Euro USD. This looks like a heart rate monitor, right? This one is more like, okay, this guy's going into shock. So it's much more aggressive. New Zealand USD, remove the last couple of days. Look at this one. Looks just like Aussie USD. Very sharp and aggressive in an upward flow. USD CAD, remove the last couple of days. It's like, okay, well, downtrend, but what in the world is this? And then downtrend again. It's like, what? What is that? Okay, USD yen, do the same thing. aggressive downward flow. Okay, looks very similar to Euro USD. So what I did was Euro USD, me no like. He's a runner-up. Okay, he's like my second option, my fallback. It's like that kid that you don't think is gonna make it to university. Okay, fallback option. He might take care of us when we get old. Okay, so that's the fallback option. He's the other fallback option. And then here's the performers. Aussie USD, performer. New Zealand USD, performer. Now, Pound USD, we don't know why it changed direction suddenly, but we see it on the daily. We get some ideas. So we're like, Pound USD, back burner. Don't like it so much. USD CAD, what in the world is that extra spike up? Back burner. Don't like it so much. USD Yen and Euro USD, same thing. They're all runner-ups. Now, our first choices being Aussie USD, nice and aggressive. New Zealand USD, nice and aggressive. Now, why in the world did I choose Aussie USD and not New Zealand USD? Well, what made me pick Aussie USD is because Aussie USD also had Aussie Strong in it. Okay, I could have picked New Zealand USD as well, but Aussie USD also had some strength in it. So that made me incline more towards it. Now, the final stage of all this stuff is show me the patterns working together. So when we see the pullbacks happening, okay, here is the pullbacks on from here to here. I'm going to circle it. There's Euro USD. Okay, Pound USD pullbacks. It's there. Aussie USD pullback. There. Okay. New Zealand USD pullback. It's there. Now, notice Pound USD pullback. More, it's dropping further and further, making lower low sequences. Okay, here, low, crossed, low, crossed, low. Euro USD sequence, low, crossed, low, low. Okay, Aussie USD sequence, low, crossed, low, and then no lower low, and then higher low. Okay, interesting. New Zealand USD, no low, even on the first try, and the second low is already a higher low. It's like, whoa, that looks interesting. So if New Zealand USD looks better than Aussie USD, why did I still pick Aussie USD? Because New Zealand USD didn't have the one factor that makes traders money. It didn't have sellers strong enough to show me the world is thinking it's a sell. At what point are support and resistance damaged? We got a small support resistance breach here, where if the world is, let me clean this up so you guys can see it. See, they've got a small support resistance here when it went higher, right? But then when it breached down to the low, how many people do you think actually look at that like, oh my god, that's gotta be a sell, man. I'm telling you, that's gotta be a sell. But all this is visible as well. Just like, is that really a sell? It's not really changing the flow of people's behavior. Now, Aussie USD on the other hand, if I do the same thing, if I take this flow and then this big red candle starts coming in, boom, support resistance broken. And then it pulls back slowly, and then another one single candle, boom. This creates greed in the market. I need to sell this, otherwise my Ferrari is gonna be missing. I have to do this. This is good for business for us. You have to understand this. This is the one thing that makes traders money. You need the opposite party. If you do not have the opposite party, then you're working with a buy that might spike down first before going up, because the buyers don't have enough sellers in there to take their money. Okay? How I ended up picking Aussie USD. How I ended up picking Aussie USD from this. So finally ended up closing it from this. So finally ended up closing it This particular trade gave me $1,000 more or less. I took it in consecutive flows. I added position. I scaled in twice. This is my original entry down here. And then I entered in one more time. I scaled in for another position and I scaled. Okay, that was my expectation of the highest point. Happened on this green bar that flew up. Okay, that was my expectation of the highest point. I drew my purple lines of the range much earlier, but I went out for dinner at this time. And by the time I came back, it smacked right back down. I was like, oh, great. Once it smacks back down, that means this purple line is still holding. So we got a whole new, it's going to take some time. Now, if you understand it's going to take some time, you can sit through it, or you can play a smaller time frame and start scaling in, which I did. You know, I started playing more 4-hour 60s and I started adding positions because it's going to take its time. So we'll get into all these little details of what more am I thinking about when I'm looking at trades in the upcoming courses. Like even stuff like, how do I scale in? Why do I scale in? And how do I protect myself when I do scale in? So stuff like that. And how do I scale out? There's a scale out process as well. When can I move my stops? All these things. So we're gonna end correlation right here. There's gonna be towards the end when we do putting it all together and everything, the roadmap and all that stuff. We're gonna put in some examples where we're gonna go through how everything fits into a piece. Then we're gonna bring in correlation. We're gonna bring in the trade. We're gonna bring in everything piece by piece and put it together. And that's when putting it all together and everything, the roadmap and all that is very important. This, you know, as much as it breaks my heart to release the courses for you slowly, you cannot understand how valuable it is to release it slowly and not all at once and give you an information overload. You have to take one piece at a time and master it. Otherwise, it's like to use when. You must learn how to use one tool. I can't do that. You won't know which tool to use when. You must learn how to use one tool perfectly. Master the hammer. Once you're done with that, then you master the wrench. Then once you're done with that, you master the screwdriver. Once you're done with that, you master the Allen key. You know, that stuff that comes with IKEA. And then when you're looking at a trade or a situation, when you open that toolbox, you know which piece to pull out. Because, you know, but going forward, everything. So you really need to understand when I'm straight into the other piece by piece. Digest the information, practice it. You have weeks to practice it. And then ask questions if there's any concerns. By piece, digest the information. There, you know, so we can help you out over there as well. But going forward, everything that you're doing is going to be stronger and better and more powerful. If you look back, if I tell you to look back right now on where you were before even you started MPA, the Mastering Price Action course, you're going to be looking at the market in a whole different manner. And I'm pretty certain of that. You're not looking at the market like the average retail trader anymore. And I'm pretty certain of that. You're not looking at the market running in the back of your mind is like, what is the big boy trying to do? That is the objective, not what does this line represent and how do I use this line for me to make money. The market doesn't know you're even there. You need to understand, practice it. You have weeks to practice it. We need to step out of that phase that, hey, market, I'm going to trade now and I need you to do what I want you to do. It won't do that. We need to play the game that the market plays. And once we master that game, then things not only get easier, but they become fun. Because once you start making money during these trades and stuff like that, it's actually fun. You know, just imagine yourself finally doing the job that not practice it. You have weeks to practice it. Doing it, not every day is the same day. So there's always a uniqueness to it. And every time you're solving a puzzle, which is like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't know something like that, that extra spike that kicked in. Like, oh, interesting. You know, all these things make you a smarter and better trader also in due time. And then you write your own paycheck. You write your own paycheck. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So hang in there. I'm seeing a lot of progress from a lot of you guys already. So good work on that. I'm seeing a lot of progress in the elite community as well from all of you guys who have joined. So straight into the other piece. Straight into the other piece. Correlation. And next week we're gonna come in. We're gonna dive straight into the other pieces. Okay. Thanks a lot. See you guys soon.